What is up, guys? Luke Deutschlander here with another video. If you guys like my videos, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. In today's video, I wanted to talk to you guys about what you guys should be doing with your money if you've made a decent amount of profits in your online business or phone flipping. So me personally, guys, I want to talk about a few things here today in this video because I feel like a lot of people get into phone flipping or they get into an online business in general. And for those of you guys that don't know or don't have online businesses yet, or maybe you want to get started, the money in an online business can accumulate very fast. I mean, I'm talking you can go from a net worth of $1,000 to $50,000 in a month just because of the fact that with an online business, they're so profitable because you really don't have any overhead or expenses. You don't have, a mortgage or a rent payment that you have to make on a shop or a physical location. Everything is run out of a home office, or even potentially just out of a laptop. It doesn't even have to be in a home office. You could be running a successful, highly profitable online business out of a studio bedroom apartment and not know a thing about money management. You get into this online business, you jump into it, you do really well with it. Maybe you take an online course. Online courses are really good, by the way, because they speed up your learning and your knowledge of the business or the niche that you are going to be getting involved in. But that being said, guys, what should you be doing with your money? And it's really important because, like I said, I feel like a lot of people accumulate a lot of money with these online businesses, and then unfortunately they don't know what to do with them once they get all this money. I mean, I've got friends and students that I've seen, they'll make a few $3,000-$4,000, which is more money than they've ever seen before because they've been living off of $300 or $400 a week in paychecks, and they'll just go out and they'll just spend this money kind of recklessly, which obviously is not a good thing. I mean, it's good to reward yourself, guys, don't get me wrong. Like, make sure you guys treat yourself and reward yourself a little bit, but at the same time, that same mentality of, oh, I got a sale today, so I need to go out to eat, or oh, I got a sale today, I need to go buy some new clothing, or oh, I got a sale today, I need to go out with my buddies tonight for drinks. Don't be celebrating too much every time you guys have success. What you guys need to be doing is investing your money, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So one of my favorite things to invest in, guys, is real estate. And I want to tell a little story here about somebody who's personally kind of motivated me and inspired me, and that would be my uncle. Now, I want to give you a little backstory about my uncle. First off, he didn't come from rich parents. His parents were married the majority of his life. They split up later on. His parents got married actually at 15 back in the old days, and it's pretty crazy, but they lived in a small town. It's actually called Cornell, Wisconsin. And I want to say the population to this day is probably between 800 and 3,000 people, probably no more than that. I mean, this town it's pretty much a nobody town. It's just one of those little towns where, you'd be flying over an airplane. Maybe you're going to Miami or Arizona, or maybe you're going to Canada. I guess you'd probably fly over Wisconsin if you're going to Canada from somewhere down south. And it's just one of those towns where you'd look down and you'd say, what goes on down there? Who lives there? So this guy comes from this super small town. Like I said, he's my uncle. He starts with absolutely nothing and basically just kind of worked his way up, worked 2 jobs most of his life, and then got he got a realtor's, license at the college, CVTC or whatever. It's just like a technical college around here. And then he started doing property management. So he did property management and then worked a job at the same time, managed all that. At the time, I think he had his wife also, I believe, early on. Like I said, pretty sure my uncle's been married for about 38 years, so he got lucky with that, did find a good girl, and they both kind of worked together. But he worked up from absolutely nothing, poor parents, and when I say poor, not that they were bad parents, but just, kind of 9-to-5 parents, very small town, work mindset, 9-to-5 mindset. That's all there was. There was no such thing as being an entrepreneur in a town of 500 people. There was no such thing. It was just all 9-to-5 jobs. And he's in his 50s now, and the guy's, a multi-millionaire, and he owns over 350 rental units, and at one time used to manage around 800 rental units. So that's pretty crazy. And so that's why I really believe that real estate, guys, is one of the best ways to invest your money, just because of the fact that what you've got to think about when you invest in real estate, and when I say real estate, guys, I mean specifically rentals, is it doesn't matter if, Tommy and Bobby got to go get clothes, or let's say their wives, let's say Tommy and Bobby's wives got really bad shopping habits, rent's always got to get paid. So the nice thing about real estate is, guys, is when you get into rentals, everybody needs a place to live. It's the one thing where when you move somewhere, or when life's not going so hot, the one thing that people worry about the most is, I got to pay my rent. I got to pay my utility bills and my rent, because of the fact that everybody needs a place to stay. The other nice thing is even people who don't have money or people who don't work, the government in the USA has a lot of benefits to help people get free housing, etc. And so if you're a landlord and you do rentals, you can often get paid directly by the government or a large portion of that, and then the tenant will pay you a very small portion of rent. So that being said, guys, real estate and rentals is one of the most foolproof and safe ways to, basically get a good return on your money. If you guys aren't like investing your money basically to the point until you're broke, and by that I mean don't, stress yourself out and literally go broke, but basically if you've got say 20 grand sitting there, try and find a real estate property or a rental you can invest your money in or maybe partner on, and basically, use up 10 grand of that or 15 grand. You guys kind of want to be investing till you're broke, and what I mean by that is don't actually go broke, but you need to invest to the point where basically you kind of feel stressed, where you need to, get on the grind again, get on the hustle again, and start building up money again to the point where you can invest again, and just keep investing your money. If you guys make your guys' online business or phone flipping profits work for you and actually make that money work for you, you guys will accumulate wealth even faster while your online business is still working for you. Real estate, like I said, is probably my #1 choice, guys, just because of the fact that the rental industry is ever rising. I'm sure you guys, for those of you guys out there that do rent, if you guys have noticed, rent goes up pretty much periodically every single year just because of the fact that landlords get taxed higher, so rent goes up, and it's kind of a snowball effect. I mean, let's say, example, you have an 8-plex, and let's say next year rent goes up $50 per unit. That's quite a bit of money. I mean, that's, my math's right here, I think that's $400 a month. So, I mean, $400 extra a month, guys, just for waiting a year, that's awesome. That's residual income. And then on top of that, I don't know really any safe investment besides the stock market that you can basically gain anywhere from 4 to 10% on your investment. Like example, if you buy a duplex for $160,000, or maybe it's $460,000, depending on where you live. If you're in California, I'm sorry for you guys. You're basically going to get, 4 to 10% investment back just because of the fact that the property value is going to rise 4 to 10%, which is really, really important. And so how I look at rentals, guys, is they're kind of like little cash trees. You don't want to sell your rentals. In my opinion, I would never sell, and that's something that my uncles always told me, is you never, ever want to sell your rental properties. So just because of the fact that, I mean, the value continues to go up and up and up, rent continues to go up, and the longer you keep them, typically the more profitable they are. Now, what's also nice about investing in real estate, guys, and why I really, really, really recommend it, is when you think about rentals, like I just said, they're kind of like little cash trees. Well, rentals, guys, are a really, really, really awesome 401k plan for when you actually retire. So a lot of people get into being self-employed and they worry about medical benefits, they worry about, Social Security later on in life. They worry about all this stuff, and they never think, what if I just invest my money from my business in a 401k plan that pays me the entire time until I retire? So let's say I buy a property for, say, $80,000, and so I've got $80,000 into it. Typically around here, a house that you would buy for $80,000 to $100,000, you could probably rent that for around $900 to $1,000 a month. So if you rent that house out each year, and let's just say, we're not going to talk net, but let's just say it grosses around $12,000 a year. Gross is your income before any expenses, for those of you guys out there that are confused between net and gross. Most of you guys will know what that is, but there are beginners out there and everybody's got to learn. So let's say you gross $12,000 a year off this $80,000 investment. If you guys keep that for 10 years, that's going to be $120,000. So after 10 years, which really isn't that long, time goes by quick, guys, especially when you start buying properties, you're basically going to have already profited about $40,000 off that. And so at that point, after 10 years, the property is completely cash flowing, it's paid itself off, and on top of that, guys, the property's paid itself off, plus you still have a property there that's probably appraised in value, probably maybe $10,000 to $20,000, so as long as you've kept up on the maintenance, maybe even more than that, that's probably on the low side after 10 years. But, I mean, you guys have this big, giant cash lump sum property that's basically just sitting there that you guys can sell anytime you want, and you can cash out. So that's why I say it's a really good 401k plan, because people will buy these houses or these duplexes or these multiplexes early on in life, and then when they're 50, 60 years old, at that time, that's when they'll sell out. And, like my uncle, he sold a couple properties, and it's really crazy to think, like one of them he was talking to me about, he bought a house, it was like 18 or 20 years ago, and he's had the same lady renting there for 18 years. So the house has paid itself off, 2 or 3 times, he said, in that 18-year time frame. He paid around $45,000 for it, I want to say it was, and then he ended up selling it for like $150,000. So not only did the house pay itself off 3 times while he had it in that 18-year time span, but on top of that, the house sold after he was done renting it out and then paid itself back basically another 3 times. So basically his $45,000 investment turned into a $300,000 sum, you know, basically take back, which is amazing. So basically, I mean, he netted around $250,000 after the initial expense of the house. And I'm sure there was other expenses here and there, but that's a really good example, guys. And not to mention, guys, real estate is really, really, really safe. I mean, as long as you buy in a decent area. Now, commercial real estate, I don't know too much about that. Well, I don't know a lot about it, but I do know it's a lot riskier, but there can be bigger payoffs too. But when we're talking about real estate and residential stuff and buying rentals, it is a really safe thing to put your money in. And, you know, to start trying to do what you guys can look for if you guys have, you know, bad credit, or maybe you're just looking to possibly get into a rental as soon as possible, go on your local Craigslist and try and look up land contracts. If you can find a land contract with somebody good to get your foot in the door, that's a big thing. Another thing, guys, is to find a mentor that possibly does real estate. Maybe somebody that's older that's done real estate for a while, and perhaps you guys could get involved with them. Maybe they give you the opportunity to help manage some of their properties, or maybe they give you a rent-to-own or a land contract on one of them too. So the biggest thing, guys, is getting your foot in the door. Once you guys get a decent amount of money saved up, you can get into a land contract with as little as $10,000, maybe even less. It depends on how lenient the seller is. Like, I got into my first rental property at, I put $10,000 down. And, you know, I've had it for like 2.5 years now, and I actually lived in it for a little bit before I rented it out, remodeled it really nice, and, you know, it's all rented out now, and I mean, that's awesome. And I'll probably keep the property forever. So it's, you know, it's just one of those things where it's just something you want to do. You don't want your money just sitting around and, you know, just stacking up in a safe or stacking up in a bank account. You know, although it's cool to look at when you look down at your phone or when you go open your safe or wherever you keep your money, you guys want to be investing until you're broke. And I'm telling you guys, real estate and rentals, it's just a safe thing. There are so many examples and so many people out there. Grant Cardone's a big one that I'm sure all of you guys know, that it's just like, you got to do it. You just got to get your foot in the door and start investing some of that money rather than, you know, blowing it or rewarding yourself all the time. Just start investing it, you know, until you can pay cash for some of the more expensive stuff that you want. I wouldn't spend the money. I would just, you know, invest it. And I'm not perfect either. Sometimes I blow money on silly things. I try not to. One of my biggest ones is out to eats. Last year, I spent an average of around $290 a month on out to eats, and I'm not a big alcoholic, so I don't really drink all that much. I mean, if I do, it's because I've got a bunch of other people with me, and they're like, "Hey, does everybody, you know, want a beer or I don't know, margarita or something?" I'm really not a beer guy either, so I looked at that last year and I was like, wow, $290 a month on food, and I'm just like, you know, I'm a single guy basically. Besides, you know, most of the time I have a girlfriend. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of money, and that's the receipts that I kept. I'm usually pretty good at keeping track of my receipts, but you know, one thing I was bad about last year is every time I get a sale or, you know, something like that, or you know, I'd have a really good day in sales, I'd be like, oh, I got to go out to eat today. I got to reward myself. And that kind of thinking is kind of dangerous because it gets you addicted to, one, making, you know, the sale, which is awesome. But instead of investing the sale or doing something positive for yourself, you're basically going out and blowing money on something that, you know, just going to go in and out of you anyways. So, but anyways, guys, I kind of hope this video helps you guys a little bit. And like I said, the big reason why I like real estate and rentals, guys, one, it's really safe. Two, it is a really good investment, and it's proven, you know, all over the United States. The most millionaires are made actually in the real estate industry. And then number three, guys, it's a good 401k plan. It's a great 401k plan if you guys, you know, are self-employed or you're trying to get there or just trying to start a business. And, you know, investing in real estate and rentals, you don't have to have an online business. It could be any business. So anybody watching this, it's really just a great thing to do. And then, don't want to talk for too long here, but another really good investment that I'll talk about in another video, guys, is stocks. The stock market can change your life, but it can also ruin your life too. And that's why I like real estate and rentals, because it's kind of safe. So unless you guys get into a property that, you know, is like The Money Pit. If you guys have never seen that movie, it's called The Money Pit. I believe it was made in 1989. Google it, go check it out. It's a good video, or a good movie to watch. Pretty funny, but this guy basically buys a really big house, and yeah, it ends up costing him a lot of money, hence the name Money Pit. So that being said, guys, I hope you guys like this video, and I hope this helps you guys a little bit with what you guys should be kind of doing with your money. You know, if you guys have any questions about how to get into property rentals, real estate, etc., what kind of step you should take for first, feel free to drop a comment below. I would love to hear it. If you guys got your own ideas on investing your money, what you should do, I would love to hear that also. Another quick line, which I'll talk about in the next video, if you don't have enough money to get into a rental property, is ATMs. ATMs, I don't know a lot about, but I am going to be getting into them, and we'll probably be talking about that pretty soon. And by getting into them, I mean, I've already done my research and everything, but I don't like putting videos out unless I've already done it, so I don't want to mislead anybody. But that being said, guys, I hope you guys liked this video. Hope it was a little chillax for you, and I hope it was a good listen for you. And make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.